the dark truth behind SBMM skill-based matchmaking on NBA 2K26, you guys. It's much worse than a lot of people realize. SBMM is very, very bad, y'all. We're gonna get in depth with this video. All right, so grab yourself a snack, a drink, whatever you got to do, because we're really going to go in depth and expose the dark truth, the dark secrets behind SBMM, why it's in the game, how it's working, y'all. You guys see, I'm on my 6'10", my Paolo build. I love this build. It's my favorite build to play in the random rec, the solo rec. And you guys see, I'm at a purple plate. So in just solo rec, y'all, I only use this build in solo rec. I'm purple plate. I can't even get a game. All right, I'm letting this whole little intro ride. You guys are gonna see, man. It's a struggle just to get a game in the solo rec as a purple plate, let alone a red plate. Cause I can hop on my red plate build, y'all, and I can show you how long it takes to wait on that, bro. But it's crazy. It's even crazier. Not to mention, you got these randoms selling and all types of stuff, y'all. The skill-based matchmaking system this year has amplified and exacerbated the toxicity in the solo rec, and I'm gonna explain exactly how. But in this intro, man, I just wanted you guys to see this, bro, because there's a lot of casuals that, even for casuals, it's hard to get games. But as you level up and get higher up, on the skill level, skill ladder, the game, you start to experience a whole different side of the game. All right, so SBMM, we're gonna go in depth because it's way darker and way worse than a lot of people realize, and it all comes down to money, dog. That's really what it is, man. It all comes down to money, because trust me, if it didn't make them no money, they wouldn't put it in the game. I can promise you that. But in John chapter 3 verse 16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Y'all, be sure to follow Jesus Christ, man. It's the most important thing, y'all. I get a lot of hate because I put these verses in my videos, y'all, but I do not care. I was an atheist for so long in my life, y'all, and I'm telling you, after I found Christ, or really it was Christ that found me, after I started following Jesus Christ, man, everything in my life got so much better, y'all. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you what I know. So with all these verses, man, I'm not telling you what I think, bro. I'm just telling you what I know. All right, I know Jesus Christ is the answer, and he's the way, y'all. So follow him, follow God, man, and everything will work out okay. But let's talk about this SBMM, this whole controversy and everything, y'all, because it's much deeper than people realize. The first thing that I need people to understand about SBMM, skill-based matchmaking, is how it works. So you guys know on 2K26 you have the black plate, then the silver or bronze, silver, gold plate, and you have purple plate and red plate at the top. All that type of stuff is called your MMR. So I'm gonna explain all these terms in these videos because I don't want to use just a bunch of words and jargon and buzzwords that you guys don't understand. So SBMM stands for skill-based matchmaking, and SBMM works using your MMR. So what is your MMR? That is your matchmaking rating. Your matchmaking rating. So a simple visual way to look at it, your MMR on 2K, your black plate, your bronze plate, silver plate, purple plate, that's your MMR, your plate color. It's a very clear color, distinctive rank that all players can see. But after the game, all right, if you guys pay attention after the game when it shows your rep and your VC and all that, and you see the little bar that, it goes up and it goes from black to bronze to silver to gold, your little bar that you fill it up all the way and you go red, that is the actual number. Y'all get what I'm saying? The actual calculated MMR. And then there's just different gates to it. So when you hit 15%, that's when you go from black to bronze. When you hit 25%, you're going from bronze to silver. That's a very simple way to explain it, you guys. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm just trying to explain it and articulate it in a way that you guys can understand, okay? So when I'm talking about black plate, red plate, purple plate, all that type of stuff, y'all, the plate color is really just a visual color code that, what's the word I'm looking for? It distinguishes the different brackets of skill in the matchmaking. So low skill players are black plate, and the highest skill players are red plate. And there are exceptions to the rule, y'all. Like if you're a really good player and you make a black plate, obviously you're still gonna be really good, you know. And there's a lot of red plate players who maybe they just get carried every game and they're really not like that. Okay, so there's exceptions to the rule, but in general, all right, lower skilled players are gonna be more black plate, bronze plate, silver plate, because they're not gonna win a lot of games. All right, they're gonna stay in that lower tier, and the higher skill players are gonna start getting to, you know, purple plate, red plate, and that's your matchmaking rating. So please understand that, y'all. I tried to break that down in a simple way. The fundamental reason that 2K is like this, all right? The reason that when you're a red plate, you match up with red plates. When you're purple plate, you match up with purple plates. When you're gold, you match up against gold. The reason that that exists fundamentally is to make money, and it's to protect casuals. It's to protect casuals, you guys. There was a Twitter post that kind of went semi-viral over this past weekend. It was a screenshot of something that Mike Wang had said on, I believe, Reddit. And he posted the official percentages of the 2K community and how they're shooting. And it's bad. On the easiest shooting 2K ever, the average is like 50%. The average in the park is like 45%. The average in the stage is like 30-something%, y'all. The average shooting percentage on 2K26 is not even 50%, y'all, on the easiest shooting 2K. So understand, when they're matching black plates against black plates, they're trying to protect them from the red plates like me, the purple plates like me, like this build, who I'm averaging efficient 40 ball. I'm shooting 75%. You know, I've got some of my builds shooting 80% damn near from 3. I've got all of my builds shooting around 70 to 60. I don't have any builds shooting anything 50. All right, so I'm like a 60 to 70% player, you know. And I'm not like trying to brag or nothing, but I'm on like the higher skill level. But there's even players higher skilled than me. All right, so understand, the reason that the SBMM exists is to protect the casuals, because the vast majority of money spent on 2K and in gaming in general is by the casual audience. Understand this, you guys. A lot of people think that it's the comp players and the YouTubers and all these, you know, cheesers that are making all these builds and buying all this VC and all this money, y'all. And yes, that is true, y'all. The comp side, you know, we make a lot of builds. We're a very lucrative, you know, portion for 2K. But understand, y'all, the comp community is a very, very small minority of 2K. The vast majority of players that buy NBA 2K on a yearly basis, man, they sell like 10 million copies, y'all. It ain't 10 million comp players, I'm gonna tell you that much. It ain't 10 million people in the Proving Grounds and the Pro-Am, y'all. I'm gonna tell you that much. Okay, the vast majority of people that buy and play 2K is just your average Joe. It's your average guy, you know. Maybe he has a family. He, you know, is working all week. He just gets home on the weekend, has time for a beer and a couple games of rec. If that, you know, a lot of people, the vast majority of casuals, y'all, they don't even play rec. They play stuff like Play Now Online, My GM, you know, weird stuff like that, My League, single player stuff. For me, the type of player I am, I don't enjoy that. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a casual player, but I understand that's my perspective, okay? The vast majority of players, man, they don't even grind to level 40. They'll just mess around and buy it. This is the type of casual that I'm talking about, man. The 40-year-old man, he's working, you know. His time is more valuable than the money, all right? So he doesn't mind spending the extra 70 every season just to buy that 40, just to buy that level 40. He don't mind spending the extra 20, you know, for that season pass. You know, he don't mind if he's making a new build, just buying the VC, because he don't have the time to sit there and grind it, y'all. That's the majority of the 2K community, all right? Or is, you know, little kids, you know, that have to ask mom and dad or ask their grandparents, you know, buy them VC for Christmas and stuff like that, y'all. That's the majority of the 2K community, and the casuals are really where gaming companies make a lot of their money. So they have to protect them. Understand this, you guys. They have to protect the casuals because the average Joe Smo, you know, he's working all week and he just has time for a game in the rec. If he loads up against me, and like I said, you guys saw in the beginning, you know, I'm averaging 40 on this build, shooting 70. If he's just your average Joe, the average player on this game is shooting 45%, you guys. So, not to be cocky, but an above average player like me, I'm damn near double as efficient as him shooting. And that's just shooting. That doesn't take into account the skill, you know, of defense, of passing, of reading the floor, reading the game. That's just a simple explanation, you guys, to see the difference in like the skill level. So do you guys think that if average Joe Smo shooting 40%, if he's loading up in the rec in the park and he's playing against players like me, purple plates, red plates, do you think that, one, he's even gonna win any games? I promise you he's not. But also, y'all, he's not gonna have any fun. These casuals aren't gonna have any fun. And so last year on 2K25, man, that's why they had things like low risk in the game. Yeah, we're taking it there, man. A lot of these casuals that couldn't time their jump shot and couldn't deal with the RNG on 25, they put on low risk. All right, and I'm proud of 2K for taking low risk out the game. I think it was a bad call. All right, but this year, there isn't no low risk. If you suck, you suck. So they had to increase the SBMM. They had to make it stricter. They had to make it where red plates only play against red plates, black plates only play against black plates, to protect the lower skill levels. Because if they're playing against good players, they're going to get blown out, they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to quit. And when they quit and they close app, especially this time of year, they're not going to be spending money on VC. They might be spending money on that new Battlefield 6 Battle Pass, that new Marvel Rivals. I really hope nobody's spending money on Black Ops 7, but a lot of people are on Black 7. Don't get me started when GTA's finna come out. So there's all these other games and all these other avenues that a lot of casual players can spend their time and spend their money. All right, because the people who only have time for a couple rec games, a couple part games per week, I promise you, if they're not enjoying that, it's going to get dropped out of their schedule very, very quick. And 2K knows this, y'all. The data, if you guys watch Blame Truth, man, the data shows this, you guys, for all types of different games. The casuals are the cash cow for these companies, man. And if the casuals get frustrated, if you lose your casual, just consumer base, then you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose a lot of leverage. You're going to lose a lot of relevancy as a game. So the casuals have to be protected because the majority of the community is bad. And if the majority of the community loses interest, then your game's going to be losing money. So the casual players, they have to be isolated. They have to be isolated from the high skill players, and they have to be protected to a certain extent. All right, so the black plates, they maybe can match up with a bronze plate. All right, but as a black plate, you're not going to be hopping in these purple plate, red plate lobbies. All right, so you can play a higher and lower skill level within a certain range. Get what I'm saying, y'all? But that range is stricter this year to protect players because the skill gap is wider this year. Okay, and as a high skill player, you actually get punished. So like I said, we're going in depth with this, y'all. Like the video, we're only halfway through. I got 3 pages of notes. So like this video, man, comment SBMM if this is opening you guys' eyes, if this is making sense to y'all, because a lot of people, they won't speak on stuff like this, man. So as a high skill player, you actually get punished for being high skill. So what do I mean by that? You guys saw in the beginning, I had to wait almost 2 minutes just to find a game, and that's a light example. I could show you clips on my red plate waiting up to 10, 20, almost 30 minutes trying to get a game, y'all. Sometimes literally you wait so long to get a game that you just get off. That's how it is as a high skill player, because the matchmaking is so strict that it won't open up and match you up against somebody low because it has to protect them. It'll sit there and make you wait until another high skill player is queuing up. And sometimes that can take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Like I said, y'all, it can be a whole game worth of time, you know? You could be sitting there waiting. You could have played a whole game by then. All right, so as a high skill player, you get punished for being high skill. But here's the money maker, y'all. The same way 2K is making the money off the casuals, here's how they're gonna make a little bit of extra money off the comp players. With this strict skill-based matchmaking, like I said, the high-skill players, we're a small minority anyway. We're going to spend our money and play the game anyway. So 2K, they don't have to protect us and cater to us as much, because the people that are really good at 2K and really love 2K, we're going to play it pretty much regardless, unless it's really, really bad like 25. But the high skill players, we're here regardless. We're going to make new builds, new meta regardless. All right, so what they've done this year with that strict skill-based matchmaking is, if you want to get into that lower skill level, all you got to do is be a black plate. So it doesn't matter if I have a 99 win percent and I never lose a game. If I just spend a little 100 on VC and I go and make this new build, well then I'm going to load up in a bum wreck. I'm going to load up in a bum part so I can get free rep, free wins, all right, free VC. This is how they incentivize high skill players to spend extra money by making new builds. All right, they don't like when you reverse boost. That's how you drop your plate. So they've patched methods. If you're red plate and you want to drop down to bronze to get more games, they've patched methods like that, y'all. That's called reverse boosting. I'm gonna get into all the different like strategies and intricacies and nuances that strict SBMM encourages in the community later on in the video, but that's just one example, y'all. The people that are trying to drop their plates, it's not that we want to play bums, all right, because we win majority of our games regardless. If we're playing against bums or we're playing against comp, I feel like I'm gonna win every single game regardless. All right, so it's not about just wanting to beat up bums, but it's about literally wanting to play the game. How am I gonna hit vet 2? How am I gonna hit legend if every time I load up I have to wait an hour just to get a game? It's black plate. If I make a new build, I can go ahead and get 2 games, maybe even 3 games. That's 2 times, 3 times rep than I would get if I was on my red plate build running the exact same game mode, all right? So that's how they incentivize high skill players to spend more money and make new builds, all right? But also, for the low skill players, y'all, they protect them and try to incentivize them to spend money as well. I've mentioned this in a couple other videos as well when I talk about the 2K community and like the profit, money driven motives at the core behind this game. But understand that the community is slowly becoming smaller and smaller. Like, I know 2K, they sell a lot of copies, you know, and they're the only basketball game. But understand, you guys, just with how many games there are out there and just with the way that the world is even going, gaming in general is becoming less and less prevalent as far as like relevance in like culture, the cultural zeitgeist, whatever you want to call it, man. And we'll see how GTA 6 affects this, because we're all pretty sure GTA 6 is going to be the biggest video game ever. But in general, less and less people are gaming now. So that's less and less money from these companies, right? So that makes every player more valuable. What they've been trying to do, a lot of these companies, not just 2K, but every single company, with all these microtransactions and loot boxes and season passes and all this type of stuff, man, with their community dwindling and growing smaller and smaller, they have to engineer ways to maximize every single customer and get every dollar, every cent out of every single customer as much as they can. And a couple people have called it like the bottlenecking effect, or like the bottleneck theory, whatever you want to call it. But as the customer base gets smaller, in order to maintain the same profit, each customer has to provide more money. So for 2K, if they have 1,000 people, but they all spend $1 million on VC, they make a lot of money, all right, compared to just 1 million people and all they do is they buy the game and they don't buy no VC. Okay, so understand what I'm trying to say, y'all. And especially this year with rep being a grind and with rep being a glitch. I posted videos proving that the rep is glitch, y'all. The rep is definitely glitched this year. It's hard to rep up if you're not in a crew. Even if you are in a crew, the 2 times bonus doesn't work all the time. You're 2 times off the spin. It's just crazy. The rep is crazy this year. I've already done videos in depth with that. All right. The rep is glitched. Even if you play in the park against park MVPs, you know, you don't get the 5 times rep, the 5 times VC if they quit out. You know, there's a lot of stuff messed up with the rep system. All right, but with that being said, it makes the casuals even more valuable, because the dedicated comp players, the grinders, we're gonna hit Vet 1, Vet 2, Legend, we're gonna hit that regardless. But the casual base, the people who don't play 2K all the time, they just play when they have the time, they play casually, and if it's not fun for them, if they're not rewarded for grinding and playing the game, if they're not repping up quickly and having fun, a lot of them are gonna get disengaged and they're gonna stop spending, so that's less money for 2K. So that's why they protect them so heavily. That's why the casuals get protected. Now, as a comp player, watch this, y'all. This is how the rep grind affects it. For me, I'm a Vet 1 going into Vet 2. So in random rec, I could have a 50-point triple-double. I could play perfect. I mean, I've let this whole gameplay ride. I mean, I have like a little 30 ball, you know. I'm not going to say it's the best game ever, but compared to how these randoms are playing, I feel like even on the games that I lose, I still ball out. I still go crazy. But for me, if I lose, I get 0.0 on my rep. I'm going to repeat that. If I'm in the random rec and I lose, I get 0% rep. If I'm in the park, even if I win, sometimes I get 0. Sometimes I need 2 games just to get 0.1 or 0.2. All right, but especially if I lose, I'm getting 0. And I'm a comp player, like I said. I'm going to play the game and grind regardless. But imagine, you know, you're Joe Smo. You only got time for 1 or 2 games. You get blown out. You know, you're a black play. You barely play 2K. Then you load up and you're playing even just a gold plate team in the random rec. They blow you out by 50. You lose and you get 0.0. So you don't get no VC, no rep, nothing. A lot of casuals will say this is not even worth my time. All right, so all this stuff is connected, y'all. These high skill players, the grinders, they know we're gonna play regardless, so they want to give us as little rep, as little VC as possible to keep us on the game. They want us playing 10,000, 20,000 park games to hit Legend, right? And keep in mind, that's 10,000, 20,000 wins, because when you lose, you get nada. You get 0. All right, so that's 20,000 wins. But for these casuals, man, even just to hit like a starter 5, I mean, if you're losing, you're going to be struggling just to hit that. So they have to protect them to give them at least a fighting chance, to give them at least just a little bit of dopamine that if it's a 50-50 that they might win, every now and then when they win, they see that rep go up a lot and they're like, okay, let me see, can I hit rookie 1? Let me see, can I hit rookie 2, all right? That's how they incentivize them. And for the high skill players, we're going to grind, we're going to buy VC and make new builds anyway. We're going to change with the meta anyway. And understand this with 2K and all games, man, they know what the meta is. You guys think, man, you guys don't think that Mike Wang and Ronnie and all them, when they're looking at the animations in this game, obviously they know that this one dribble move is way faster and bursts way better and it doesn't get ripped at all compared to this other move that is super clunky and super slow. They know exactly what moves players are going to use. They know exactly when they were making these breakdown combos that D-Book combo just slides you right past people. They know exactly what they're doing, you guys. And they know exactly how to make it, what ball handle to give the most meta, blah, blah, blah. Even in Call of Duty, y'all, they know what gun's going to be OP before the game even drops because they designed the game. They designed the stats, y'all. So they can artificially manipulate the meta. Understand this, y'all. They pick and choose what the meta will be. They go by the data, what makes them money. It's a bottleneck effect, y'all. What's making them money? In season 1, man, people was making them 7-4s. All right? So all that money was going towards 2K. But they saw people was mixing up these builds, you know, with steals and taller builds, all this. So what do? They changed the game. They changed the meta. They tweak this. They tweak that. They make certain builds less viable, certain builds more viable. And all of a sudden, all the comp players, now we're buying new builds. Now we're buying more VC. All right, now the casual players, they see us going crazy. They see a red plate balling out. They see the vet 3 in the park balling out. They're like, oh, crap, what is his build? Oh, he's on that 6'9" off-screen shooter. All that type of stuff adds up, man. And it gets darker because in games like Call of Duty, the SBMM is very bad, y'all. This stuff in 2K is just the tip of the iceberg. All right, because Call of Duty does stuff like skill-based damage. It forces you to lag. You still have to wait 5-10 minutes to get a game. I didn't even talk about the fact that the cheaters are incentivized. All right, so if you're a cheater, a zinner, and you're shooting 90% as a red plate, well, guess what? For me as a high skill player, as somebody who naturally gets the red plate, now I'm forced to play against cheaters. And the cheaters, y'all, 2K loves cheaters because anytime they get banned or whatever, they just make a new account and they buy more VC and they make the exact same build, the new meta build. So cheaters, y'all, the reason that they don't ban zinners and cheaters and all this, y'all, is because it makes them a lot of money. All this stuff comes down to money, y'all. People buy new builds, casuals getting protected, high skill players able to make a new build and basically reverse boost. You're paying to reverse boost basically. All that type of stuff is on purpose, y'all. All right, so when you pay money, it drops your MMR, y'all. All this type of stuff is on purpose, bro. I didn't even get into stuff like two boxing and all types of crazy stuff, skill-based damage. That would be like if 2K changed your green window based off your skill, based off who's winning, who's losing. And they've confirmed, done stuff like that before, y'all. So, like I said, man, this video was a deep dive exposing the dark truth behind SBMM. I didn't even get into how SBMM makes the game way more toxic. All right, I'm gonna be doing a whole video soon about why the 2K community is so toxic and just the problems with this community, bro. But like the video, y'all, subscribe, comment down below, man. If you watched all the way to the end, comment SBMM, y'all. Comment what you guys think, man. This video, a lot of creators, they won't speak on this, they won't talk about it, y'all. But this is the dark truth, the underbelly at the core of this game. It really all comes down to money, and it affects every single player, whether you're a casual all the way to a comp, man. People have to know about this. And the most important thing, y'all, at the end of the day, who cares about 2K, SBMM, whatever? At the end of the day, all this stuff is here today and gone tomorrow. We're not going to be playing 2K26 next year, the year after, the year after. All right, but next year and the year after and the year after and forever, there will always be God. There will always be Jesus Christ. There will always be the Holy Spirit. So be sure to follow God, follow Jesus Christ, follow the Holy Spirit, y'all. I'm telling you from first-hand experience, it's the best decision you'll ever make in life, bro. I'm telling you. Have a blessed rest of your day, and peace.